that we really want to discuss before the matchups over the weekend back in the English Premier League. We wanted to discuss what's going on with Manchester United and give the audience a little bit of a breakdown on their new head coach, Michael Carrick. Talk about what he's done in the past as the emergency manager before back in 2021 and what we think he's going to do in the future. So, yeah, wanted to give some time for TC and I to jump on this. TC, how are you?
Dude, not too bad, not too bad. Alive, good to see you.
Nice.
Glad we get to talk about this amazing subject today.
Oh, for sure. And before we start, definitely got to give some love out to one of my really good friends, Andrea, and her new drink, Chixa Tepache. It is a fermented beverage, 4% alcohol. It is originating in pre-Columbian Latin America. Tepache is an vibrant beverage made from fermented pineapple. So you're going to get a nice little tangy
Sick.
kick while drinking it, but it also includes fruit, cloves, ginger, cinnamon, and unrefined sugar. So with tropical flair and a hint of tang, you can enjoy this tepache on your own or as a mixer. So yeah, want to give a lot of love over for this drink for Chicks at Tepache. Really, just give some love for that. Yeah,
Nice.
for sure.
Nice.
Well, yeah, I wanted to definitely give this time, especially for UTC. Your squad has a very specific challenge right now of trying to stabilize after the firing of your uh, coach, Ruben Amorim, the much embattled head coach slash manager. What was he? What was he trying to do during that time? And also talk about your structure of the club with Ineos being the head of the team, things like that. But just for our listeners that aren't as savvy with Premier League, I want to preface with starting with who Manchester United are. They are one of the largest clubs within soccer in Europe as well as the globe. So they make some very high revenues within the world of soccer, probably within the top 10, albeit the top five of revenue generators of all sports clubs in the world. Arsenal is one of them. Barcelona and Real Madrid are one of them. The Dallas Cowboys are in
Mhm.
there. So it's a very important club globally. But then as well, they have some of the most titles within the English Premier League, but they've hit it kind of rough. So want to let the floor open up for TC, who is our resident Manchester United lover, that Red Devil fan. Let him discuss more about how his club is operating right now and where he sees Michael Carrick coming in the future. TC, take it away, bro.
No, look, and I appreciate that. Thank you for that intro. First of all, it is one of, if not the biggest club in England, one of not one of the biggest clubs in the world. Just want to make sure that was reiterated. No, I think you eloquently set it up there. For a club the size of Manchester United, the amount of turmoil and the way it's being run currently has really led it down to a path of it having bad management and therefore translating into bad results in the field and also bad player management. Essentially, what Michael Carrick has to do, who's going to be who's the interim head coach until the end of the season, is he
Mhm.
has to steady the ship.
Yeah.
He has to put an identity onto a team that's been struggling to play a way that a manager wanted against a board that didn't want to play that. And he has to then manage the players that he has to ensure that they are able to get into a good position to finish the season. So Michael Carrick essentially has one of the hardest jobs in football, if not the fucking world right now. And I think that's insane. Now, what you have to look at is what tools has he been given to succeed? Is they going to be able to dip into the transfer market?
It is January.
Is he going to I mean, in January, exactly. I mean, there's talk about Ruben Neves and Diamande, simply because we really need to shore up our midfield.
Yeah.
Our midfield is pretty much like what, like the Bangkok red light district, assume is like on a Saturday night after New Year's Eve. Do you know what I mean? Just straight run through. Do you know what I mean? It's like a friggin' highway. Like our fucking midfield is exactly what every 17-year-old boy hopes to happen after prom night. You
Oh
know what I
man.
mean? Like
Before you
literally,
go any
you
further,
just slip right in there.
let you get a chance to fix your camera really quick because you are coming up black right now. But while talking about, there you are, there we are. We get to see this gorgeous mug of yours. But I mean, you have Ruben Amorim. He tried to implement a system of 3-4-3. Michael Carrick, he has a preferred 4-2-3-1. He was a former player under Sir Alex Ferguson, which definitely your golden years. He was a part of that class of 1996. So, do you feel as though this is a really big, like, good appointment to study the ship, especially after Darren Fletcher crashed you out of the cup this past FA Cup weekend? Or do you feel as though like the stopgap is a really good way to kind of like study the ship, actually make it into Europe, you know?
Yeah, no, interesting points. So firstly, I think that's a huge misjustice to Darren Fletcher.
Okay.
Number one, he did not crash us out the cup. The players played and let
Tactically, did he put you in the right place? Master?
within that. Sorry. So you froze for a second.
Oh, yeah. I
Within
said
that,
tactically, did he put you in the best place?
yeah, to that point though, Michael Carrick has always been an astute tactical brain. He's known for his nuance in terms of his tactical nuance, which I think will come great into how our team likes to play. You hit the nail on the head. He does like to play a more traditional way, I think, with the players that we have. However, Ruben wasn't necessarily wrong. We tried that 4-4-2 or 4-3-2-1 on against the FA Cup, and we, like I said,
Well, that
our
was Darren
midfield.
Fletcher who was running that one, and yeah, I think you're talking about the Carabao Cup against Grimsby.
Sorry,
No, was it? I think
no, the FA Cup, the FA Cup
that's Darren
loss
Fletcher
we
who
had.
was in charge. That was Darren Fletcher who was in charge.
That's what I'm saying. It was Darren Fletcher, but
Oh,
it
you said
wasn't. What I'm saying is,
yeah,
what Ruben used to say is that we needed the extra individual in midfield,
yeah,
because with the three at the back you have an extra individual, and with the four you do not. And as you can see, we got run off the park.
yeah. I always
And
wondered, like, how did the extra person in the midfield actually work? Because I never felt as though y'all had extra. I actually felt y'all had less in midfield. So
I can't wait for
these
your
are just
segment.
questions
It's
right
going to be interesting. No, essentially, look, I think there was some games when you must understand teams have great tactical awareness, counter tactical strategies to counter against a weak a team lacking confidence. You must understand that plays such a big part, especially. And I love Man United and I love our fans, but our fans are one of the worst, which is why so many of our players succeed in other places, because they don't have the amount of vitriol and focus on them that Manchester United has. And due to the fact that you said our golden years, when we've had plenty of golden years, but during that period of prosperity, it was more positive out of that. We also had less of the social media and things to deal with, and now we have what you heard called keyboard
Sounded golden
warriors
right there.
on exactly. So you're right. I think all of these lead to what you're painting a picture is a place that's badly run. The fans are unhappy. They're creating animosity on the internet. They're fucking, and then the decisions that are being made on the ground are you're kind of like, what the f? Um, Michael Carrick, he's bringing in a couple of individuals that people have raised some eyebrows. Roy Keane said the other day, he was like, "What the fuck? What has Johnny Evans done to earn a place on the coaching squad?"
Yeah.
Um,
I
I
think
for
Johnny
me,
Evans is actually an underrated hire for the coaching squad, honestly.
yeah, I think so. I mean,
What
look,
was
he's
fine
done his
last year.
badges, but well, that exactly. The other thing is, I think you have to realize that Michael Carrick needs to build. He's trying to build a team that he can trust, or he probably puts people that he can trust. With the short time he has, it's not about, hey, I'm going to pick. It's like building a team you can trust, people who know Manchester United or know what it's about. Very English coaching staff, very much rooted in either England or past in terms of they've played or coached within England. So it's a very English setup. So what you might have is a very English thought process in terms of stay tight at the back, play 4-4 with like a sitting defender. So we might see a change in that. What we do need to happen, unfortunately, is a lot of people need to step up.
Yeah.
Right now, we've got a team of Tiger Woods, and I love you, Tiger, like I love my team, but you ain't playing like shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's just what it is. You know what I mean? Like, it's unfortunately, I think that comes in parcel with like what's going on. So you're right, Eric. It's a tumultuous period for my team. However, out of the darkness there comes, there comes brighter days, but we can only hope. I think what we have to look at is in January, if we can strengthen, which if we have money to do, then there's a potential of looking at bringing in some Barcelona players at the end of the season, doing a bit of a swap with Marcus Rashford.
Yeah.
There's also the good news. Well, there's potential that Sir Jim Ratcliffe, the fucking rat, might be selling some assets in the hope to maybe sell some of his. He's selling his club Nice. So there's a hope that Man United will follow by if he could sell his stake in that, because ever since he's come in, he's just fucked it up. Ineos, you guys have just really just you guys are what if I had a rash and someone said to rub another rash onto it. That's what
Oh
Ineos has
boy.
done to Man United. They have added a rash to a rash. You know.
Feel it. All right, now back to the actual pitch. And Michael Carrick has been in this position before, back in 2021. He was unbeaten during that run too. Do you feel as though it's going to be a good like run? We were talking about it before the show. Carrick has an opportunity to just turn the entire title chase into like frenzy. We got Manchester City on the weekend, and you got Arsenal next week. What are you expecting, or what are you hoping for within these next like 3 crucial weeks? Especially because you know that you're getting players back from Afcon. You possibly can get more reinforcements before the end of the transfer window, and you have Steve Holland and Woodgate as well as Johnny Evans on the coaching staff. Do you feel as though this is a good way to like really implement what you're trying to do? Super possession heavy on the pitch to be able to drive results against these two title contending
Well,
squads.
that's not going to happen. We're not going to have more possession than either of the next two games. That's a fact. It is going to be a very tight game in terms of what we might do is revert to very, very tight at the back, sustain, counter, sustain, counter. You know, but let's see what Michael's getting to work with this week. There's no bigger test than fucking Man City derby followed by Arsenal. So if he can get anything out of this week after the kind of shit that we've seen, then goodness gracious
Yeah.
almighty, Carrick at the wheel. I think I think, you know, unfortunately, and maybe not unfortunately, these two games force you to be very in it. There's no fucking, hey, I'll get in there half-assed. No,
Yeah, these are
motherfucker.
huge matches.
Exactly. On
Yeah.
Sunday, if you slip and you leave your cheeks open, they're gonna give you six in the ass. Okay, it's happened before. It's happened before. I can tell you
Yeah,
that. So
City did tear you up, but Manchester United versus Arsenal, even during the down years, the bouncer years for Arsenal, those matches were still closer. I mean, outside of that, what was it? 8-2? Drubbing very first match of the season back in 2011 and 2012, where
yeah,
the year right before Van Persie left, for Manchester United to win the title. Like even during those years, especially Arteta's like most recent years, even when we dominate matches, it's still 1-1 or 1-0. Like
yeah.
it's a very weird thing. So I
Mm,
think the Manchester City thing is the most important part for you guys
yeah,
to
yeah.
try to be the most tight because you're gonna have the most eyeballs in that match. But the Arsenal one, no matter what, Manchester United, you guys rise up against Arsenal, or Arsenal just
Well, I
them just
agree. I
same
think
it up.
we
So.
Yeah, agree. I think we raise up against some of the big teams, Man City, Arsenal. That being said, we haven't beaten you guys in a while. Man City, we've had on and
Last
off.
year knocked us out.
Oh yeah. I mean, I was thinking of the league. Sorry.
Yeah.
So I think, like I said, I think the impetus for them to be on it has to be there. Like Michael's definitely looking at it right now. I think we might see. It'll be nice to see how we do fare against these teams
Yeah.
because they'll kind of see our level. You know, like both 2 weeks in a row, you're playing the two best teams in the league. So it would be great for us and to see where we are. If we get hammered, then that's just vindictive where we are. I hope it's just like, hey, boardroom, see what's happening here? Sort this shit out. And it can't be sorted out over like the unfortunate thing for Manchester United is that I believe with the players we have, you could be challenging. Honestly, we could be challenging.
You can.
I believe you could. I believe so. It's not that we don't have personnel. What it does mean is that our whole mentality needs to change because I think, and it starts with us. I think we need to, and I say to all fans, especially in football, we're fucking. all fans. Like we think that, like, some of you go to work and you're assholes and you're shitty at your job,
Yeah,
and you like you watch a guy for like fucking 90 minutes a fucking week, and you think it gives you the right to say some of the most vile things consistently and tag him in it, and God help this guy be scrolling, doom scrolling at home, and sees, and I've seen what we say to, and you're like, kill, die, die, and you're like, yo, I just had a big, so I think that needs to change. And I think with Michael Carrick, I think what he will have is a backing of us, because he's one of us.
yeah.
And
He's
we
one.
know that he's been given the short end of the stick.
Yeah,
So it's not going to be like, yeah, we'll be frustrated. People are paying tickets. They want to see Man United play. But at the same time, we got to understand we are in a huge transitional period right now. It now fucks up all our plans. Summer tours on hold. Do these, everything. We now need to relook at our transfers, because whoever comes in is going to have to decide that what do we need. The problem we might have now is that some fuckhead is going to decide the transfers. You're going to get a coach who's like, I didn't want A, B, or C. Now I've got him.
true.
Um,
I mean,
looking at,
that's going to be a
yeah,
question. Like, what is your ideal scenario? Like, do you feel as though Carrick is going to be able to take the wheel at the end of the season? Even if he does well, he gets you into Europe. Let's say Europa League right now. You guys are in what, fourth or fifth or sixth?
yeah, yeah.
You're hovering
So,
in a European spot. So, um,
yeah,
what's the
interesting.
ideal scenario?
Yeah, look, interesting you say that, because Gary Neville says regardless, Michael Carrick shouldn't get the job on a full-time basis. We saw what happened with Ole. I think if he does well for the rest of the season and he gets going, then that's his job. That's a job interview. So really, I think what we're looking for is a fucking manager who can fucking handle and bring Man United to where it is. I don't give a fuck how we find him, who he is, what he's done. Hell,
Yeah,
give Wayne Rooney a chance. I was like, I don't give a fuck. Wayne Rooney, look at Vincent Company, okay? I'm not saying anything, but what I'm saying is Vincent Company got relegated with Burnley. He's winning trophies with Bayern.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? So I think, what unfortunately, because it doesn't seem to be a coach problem, to be fair, dog. No offense. We've had like some of the best coaches over the years. The problems seem to be permeating. Whereas we look at other clubs that have had many different coaches, fucking they just keep they keep moving. They keep moving. They keep
well, I
moving.
was gonna say Manchester United. One thing that I've always noticed is when you transfer players over, you put them on way too high of wages and way too long of years. So you don't even do the thing that Chelsea does really well, which is low wages but very long years. Like you keep like let's say Luke Shaw, his wages are way too high for the position that he's in. Diego Dallo, his wages are way too high for the position.
You mean you're talking about the England starting left back who went to the semi-finals and finals?
Luke Shaw,
You talk about that guy? Wait, hold on. You're
he's
talking
an
about
injury
you're talking about
prone
that guy,
dude.
the
Come
guy
on.
who broke his leg and came back, the guy who every
Never,
coach has selected under everyone. I
I get
think
it.
he's
You
like,
wanted to send your players, but think about it objectively. Think about how your players are oft injured, and the ones that aren't oft injured, they're not playing up to potential. Bruno, big talisman, he's killing it. He's the reason why you make it most of the times. But weirdly enough, he's been missing major penalty shots in very high pressure situations. So there's an issue there. I'm
okay,
liking what
okay,
I'm,
Rick.
I'm liking what
Let's
I'm
whoa,
seeing
whoa,
with
whoa, whoa. Hold on.
I'm
No,
liking
no,
what
no.
I'm seeing
I'm
with
not
the
gonna have some
squad.
guy
Like
come here and fuck. Oh,
this
you know what? I
season,
can't wait for your segment. No, let me tell you, bullshit. Don't ever fucking disregard. Don't ever say that about Bruno whatsoever.
what?
Bruno would
I
walk
just
into
gave him
your
props
team.
and just props
No,
to
you
ask
said he's been missing the
what?
high pressure. You know what? You see, this is what I'm talking about. You
I
call
don't
out
know
his
what you're
one
talking
mistake.
about.
This guy does like 3,000 right
Not
things. Okay.
one mistake. We can actively look three separate opportunities for him to either take a game to win or take a game to tie, and he's missed the penalty directly. Like
No, Eric. No, stop that. So I'm getting really angry. Actually, to be fair,
I
because
can
like you're
see,
talking
but
shit. Okay, you're talking
asking quite
shit.
reasonable questions right now. That's all.
No, what I'm saying is that like you're mentioning one off or two off instances. What
Three
about the
off.
300,000? This man has played more minutes than any of your team. He's done more assists than any of your team. He's created more chances, more three. In fact, he's got
Again,
the
I
highest.
said he is really great. I said that.
Yes,
Did
you
I not?
did. I appreciate
Okay,
that.
then.
But
Like,
just
I'm
because
glad that
he's
you gave
missed,
us
you
the
see,
stats
you
to
can't
back up
weigh
what
out.
I said. I'm glad you
Yes,
gave the
but all
stats to
his
back up
good.
what I said. But again, I'm only questioning in the high
No,
situation,
okay. So just
like all
to
I'm
answer your
catching.
question, I don't. I think Bruno's been playing fantastically. So I
Yeah, he's
apologize.
been
Let me say
way
this.
better,
I
especially after
think
the injury. Yeah,
he's been playing fantastically. I have no. Bruno is. If we had 11 Brunos, we'd be winning the league. What you're talking about? We spoke about this. Some players do need to pick up. I
yes,
disagree about the value of their contracts. Maybe Diego Dallo at the moment is going through a shit thing. Luke Shaw, no. However, we are not like Chelsea play high contracts and long and things. But you're right. We have had a history of playing overpaying people. I think only because of it having to be something we have to do in order to attract players,
yeah.
right?
You're Manchester
Because it's
United.
been less of an attractive project,
Yeah,
right?
Manchester United like to get players. I'm going to look at one, Lenny Euro. Currently, Aiden Heaven has been outperforming him. You got Aiden Heaven for 500K from Arsenal. Lenny Euro,
If you keep
110
talking
behind.
shit like this, I'm gonna have to come back and smack you in the face.
What are you talking about?
Lenny
He's been
Euro. Let
good.
me tell you about Lenny Euro.
He's not
I'm so glad you
he's
mentioned
not
him. Let me
gone
tell
up
you about.
to
Let
the
me tell you
levels
about
that
Lenny
he
Euro. Let me compare the two because that's actually I had a discussion with this guy just now about those two. So Heaven, okay, young player,
very young.
7 months younger, 7 months younger than Lenny Euro, right? Okay. Lenny Euro is pretty much the future of defending. In fact, I think he must leave Manchester United. If he leaves Manchester United, he could be the one of the best defenders in the world. Okay, at his age, Heaven has had two good games throughout 5 games, and of those 5 games, he's had 2 goals conceded directly because of 3 goals because of his mistakes. Okay, so part of that is a learning curve, and that's okay. But
But
you
he was
must
good last year
understand that
before he was injured as well. So,
hundred
like,
percent.
he's going through a learning curve
But
completely. Like, he's been
but
thrust
Lenny,
into that situation.
yes, but let me tell you, when you play Lenny Euro or Heaven together, I say I had to mention their ages because you must understand they're the same age. Lenny
No,
Euro looks like fucking Rio Ferdinand when he plays next to him. What I'm saying is he has a certain calmness that you only find in the best defenders. Like I
yeah.
said, he's playing for Manchester United, so he's fucked. So I think that they both have the opportunity to develop. Unfortunately, there's no one from them to learn from. So
Okay.
I believe that they have to move to get the best that they need. Unfortunately, Lenny
Okay.
Yoro is young enough that he will actually, because he plays in a team like that, if they can get some support, I promise you they don't want to let that kid, let him go. Heaven, how you guys let him go is because you're idiots. You're
No,
fucking
we didn't.
idiots.
We didn't have place for him, and we just kept buying center backs because that is Arteta's way. Like as you see right now,
And you bought some good ones, to be
yeah,
fair.
we have way too many. He wasn't actively going to get any game time during
Game
that
time,
time. And
yeah.
right now
No.
at Manchester United, like you guys got a really great deal, 500K for a player that is starting next to a 78 million player, and they're having a very equal season. You're getting a good bang for your buck right now.
Stop saying
But
they're having an equal season. They're not having an equal season.
I think they
I
are.
can't wait for Arsenal segment.
They're
They are not.
both starting for Manchester United right now. So
Has Heaven scored any goals?
uh
No.
yeah.
Has your Lenny? Yes. Has how many aerial battles
Our
has
center backs
Lenny War?
judged by their goals. Our center backs judged by their goals, or are they judged by the goals they like in? Like I understand we just talked about.
Semantics. We know the answer to that question, but I'm not going to justify it by answering. I'm
Oh,
going to call you Caroline Levitt from now on. Okay, Caroline. Okay.
well, before we dip, I do want to again make sure that everybody was able to give some love to Chicksa Tempache. It's
Yeah.
a really good drink. Really would love for you all to try it. Uh, let's see. You can be able to learn more from Chicksa Tempache. Look it up online. It is a very delicious fermented beverage from the mountains of Colombia. Really hope you guys enjoy. And then my last question to you before we dip out: what do you think the scores of the Manchester City match and the Arsenal matches will be? What is your like
I think
early?
they'll be good matches. I think they'll be great matches to watch. I think that you can. Okay, so I'm thinking 2-1 Manchester United. I'm thinking 1-0 Manchester United against Arsenal, 2-1 against Manchester City. All to Manchester United. All wins. Michael Carrick at the wheel. Ole Carrick at the wheel. And then what will happen is that from there, Yoro will score in one of those games. Okay?
Okay.
You heard it first. Yoro will score in one of those games, and then I will find you, and I will find you.
I love it. Well, yeah, here's hoping to the best. It's not good when Manchester United is not within the larger conversation. So definitely glad that we were able to just talk this out
Have
for
they ever not been in the
United
conversation?
talk. Again, Dem Boys Watch Footy. We're going to keep trying to get like some of these stories, some of these fan cam and fan conversations going. Different squads across the league. You'll have some Liverpool talk. You'll have a Man City talk soon. You'll have some Arsenal talks, of course.
That's
Uh,
what we want to hear.
then we'll
Yeah.
also have some Real Madrid, some Barca, some Inter, some Roma, some Juve. Like we got fans that want to come on. So again, thank you all for giving us a listen right now, and y'all have a good one. Peace.
Thanks, guys. Peace out.